Hello, 282 friends. It's Miss Rodriguez, and tonight we are going to read a book that was recommended by my mother, Patricia Dreyer. It's called Gorilla Thumps and Bear Hugs, a Tapping Solution children's story by Alex Ortner and illustrations by Erin Mariano. Let's get started. One day during recess, Lucas noticed that his friend Annabelle looked very sad. When he asked her what was wrong, she said, "I was drawing a picture of myself as a scientist, and two kids teased me. They told me the picture was silly and that I was crazy for wanting to be a scientist, but I think science is so much fun." It's not nice when people tease one another. "I want to be an astronomer so I can learn about fun stuff like the billions of stars in space. Or maybe a zoologist studying all the different animals in the world, where they live and what they do. Or a doctor, learning all about the amazing things in our bodies, like our eyes that see, our ears that hear, our lungs that breathe, and our hearts that beat." I'm telling you, science sounds like so much fun. But kids are always teasing me for liking science. Maybe I'm foolish for wanting to be a scientist. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe that's why I'm so sad, Annabelle said with a sigh. "I'm sorry you're sad. I know a secret trick that might help you feel better," Lucas said. "I'm interested." "A few weeks ago, I was really sad because I tripped and fell playing soccer. It hurt and I didn't want to play anymore because I looked silly in front of my friends. So I quit. When my brother Malachi saw how sad I was, he taught me something called magical tapping technique, and it made me feel much better. Want to learn about it?" "Sure," Annabelle said. What is this magical tapping technique? "He started by telling me that we all have magical points on our bodies where we can touch our energy," Lucas said, "and that by tapping these points while saying magic words, we can change how we feel. He has really fun ways to remember each point." "We always start tapping with a karate chop point," Malachi said as he tapped on the outside of his hand. "With this point, I think about doing karate and breaking a board." So let's start with our karate chop point. "Next is the eyebrow point," he said. "I call this the hairy eyebrow point. When I tap here, I pretend that I have eyebrows so big that birds can land on them and sing songs and make me feel better." Right here. See? Then there's the side of the eye point, which I call the super eagle eye point. When I tap here, I pretend I have super eagle eyes that help me look at things in a different way. So that point is right here. Next is the under eye point. I call this the lion cry point. It helps me remember that even if you're as strong as a lion, it's still okay to cry and let the bad feelings out. A lot of times, crying makes you feel better. Look at that lion cry point. Let's do it right here. Then there's the under nose point, the dragon fire point. When I tap here, I pretend I'm a dragon setting fire to my bad feelings as I breathe them out of my nose. I can feel the bad feelings leaving through the hot fire on my hands as I tap. Right here, that's our dragon fire point. The next is the chin point. I call this the wolf chin point because when I tap here, I think about a wolf howling away bad feelings. Oh! Then there's the gorilla collarbone point, which I think of the gorilla thump point. When I tap here, it's like I'm a big proud gorilla beating on my chest. Next is the underarm point. I call this the bear hug point because when I tap here, I think about giving myself lots of love with a big bear hug. It looks like it's about here. The big bear hug. And the last point is the top of the head point. I call this the monkey point. When I tap on this point, I like to pretend I'm a monkey. Sometimes I even make monkey sounds. Look at that monkey. Oof, 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 oof. Tapping that point. Malachi showed me how to tap on each magical point on my body with my fingers while saying the magical words, Lucas said. At first, I felt really silly and I even giggled, thinking about how funny it is. But once I started doing it, I didn't mind because it made me feel so much better. That sounds like it could help, but what are the magical words? Annabelle asked. They're actually called magical tapping phrases, said Lucas. You say them when you're tapping on the magical energy points. Basically, you just say out loud how you're feeling, and this helps the feelings change. Can we try it? Said Annabelle. Sure. Just repeat after me and tap where I tap. So now we're going to practice together. First, tap on the karate chop point and say, even though I feel sad because some kids teased me about my pictures, I love myself anyway. Annabelle did just what he said. Keep tapping and say this 2 times. Even though I feel sad because some kids teased me, I'm a good kid anyway. Annabelle repeated what Lucas said twice. Great, now let's go to the hairy eyebrow point and say, I feel sad because the kids teased me. Lucas and Annabelle continued to tap on each point saying the magical tapping phrases. Soon Annabelle got the hang of tapping and started tapping on her own. I feel sad because the kids teased me. I feel sad because the kids teased me. When Annabelle finished tapping through all the points, Lucas told her to take a deep breath in and out. How do you feel? He asked. Wow, I feel a lot better, she said. This is magic, real magic. And you know what? I had a great idea when we were tapping. Annabelle got up and said, I have to go ask my teacher about my idea. So they did these magical practices. After recess, the teacher asked all the kids to draw pictures of what they wanted to be when they grew up. They all had different ideas, like being a police officer or a teacher or a firefighter or an artist or an astronaut or a professional soccer player. Of course, Annabelle drew herself as a scientist. When they were done, each kid got to share his or her picture with the class and tell why they chose that job. Everyone had an amazing time, and Annabelle was no longer alone. The next day, Annabelle came to Lucas and said, Thank you for showing me the magical tapping technique. It made me feel so much better and even helped me have the idea for all of us to draw our dreams. You're welcome, Lucas said. I'm glad you liked it. Malachi and I are starting a tapping club to teach other kids how to tap. Do you want to help? I'd love to, Annabelle said with a big grin. So my friends, when we feel upset, that's okay. There are certain things we can do to calm down. For Annabelle and Lucas, it was tapping. Or maybe you like breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. That felt nice. Anyway, remember to be kind, do your best, and have fun. And take care of your grown-ups. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Mwah!